Governor Pritzker and Mayor Johnson pushing back on Trump administration threats to send the National Guard and other federal authorities to Chicago. WBBM political editor Jeff Buchholz was at today's news conference. He joins us live with all the details. Jeff.
Yeah, once again, Chicago making national news, Lisa, though probably not in the way that state and local leaders would like. Governor Pritzker chose the fork of the Chicago River here at Wolf Point to make the point that Chicago's not the killing field, that's a quote, that President Trump described at the White House today. The governor and many other speakers here said violent crime is trending down, and the pledge to send in federal forces is less about fighting crime and more about bringing Chicago in line. But Mayor Johnson did offer a suggestion for federal assistance.
We are calling on the Trump administration to release the $800 million for violence prevention funds that he stole back in April. We are calling for more resources to stop the endless flow of guns into our city. And we are calling for transformational investments into affordable housing and community safety.
And Lisa, the governor and the mayor both called the potential arrival of federal law enforcement forces here unlawful and unwarranted.
Okay, Jeff, so the question now is, what can the state do to keep federal forces out of Chicago? Can they do anything?
It's not clear, actually. The governor's response was essentially, see you in court. Attorney General Kwame Raoul was here as well. He says he's already filed more than 36 lawsuits, and he's not afraid to do it again. But when asked about preemptive lawsuits, in other words, getting to the court before the troops show up, both men said it's too early to know.
Dozens of demonstrators are back in Broadview this morning protesting the West Suburban ICE Detention Center. The details from WBBM's Nancy Hardy.
Wearing a crown of barbed wire and holding a sign that says, "Who would Jesus deport?" Josh is standing here along busy 25th Street. He tells us he hopes to act as a mirror for fellow Christians who support the immigration raids, noting it took him longer than he would like to come around on the issue.
Saying like, well, they broke the law, or like, well, and so they get what's coming to them. Like, that's not what Jesus Christ preached at all. And it took me many years of self-reflection and understanding of Scripture.
Many of the protesters out here are wearing protective eyewear and have masks or respirators after last Friday's protest saw agents use tear gas to disperse people blocking vehicles leaving the ICE detention center. In Broadview, Nancy Hardy, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem held a news conference at the airport in Gary today detailing what's being called Operation Midway Blitz, the immigration enforcement actions in the Chicago area.
The secretary said among the thousands of undocumented people who have been arrested in the past 6 weeks, truck drivers, who she says were given commercial driver's licenses by sanctuary states like Illinois.
Since the beginning of Midway Blitz, ICE and CBP and our state partners have arrested more than 3,000 illegal aliens, including rapists, murderers, and gang members that have been brought to justice. And listen, we don't want any of these individuals out on our roads, and we don't want them in our communities, and we especially don't want them behind the wheel of an 18-wheeler when they can't speak our language, they don't understand our laws, they can't follow our roadway signs, and they can't interact with law enforcement or our citizens.
Noem said since President Trump took office, more than 2 million people have been deported, some arrested, some who left voluntarily. Mike Krauser, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
There was new outrage today about the Trump administration's ICE enforcement activity in Chicago after masked and armed agents pulled a teacher out of a North Side daycare. WBBM political editor Jeff Buchholz reports elected leaders are disputing the Fed's versions of events.
We are not okay.
Parents, religious, and community leaders looked on as members of Congress and others denounced the decision to detain a teacher inside the Raita de Sol facility at Addison and Rockwell near Lane Tech High School.
They went into multiple rooms asking and looking for teachers, while children were present.
Democratic Congresswoman Delia Ramirez says the teacher taken into custody is authorized to work in the U.S. A statement from DHS claims in part agents did not target the daycare, but say the woman barricaded herself inside the facility after speeding away from what the agency called a targeted traffic stop. Congressman Mike Quigley says he doesn't believe anything coming out of the administration.
This is a president, when he gets in the room with the truth, a fight breaks out.
The teacher was reportedly taken to the ICE facility in Broadview. We're on the north side. Jeff Buchholz, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Breaking news from News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
And we've got breaking news from the Loop, where there's been a development in this evening's anti-ICE protest and march, where we find WBBM's Terry Keshner. He's live with an update. Terry, what's been going on since we talked to you last?
Lisa, this is what happened just a short time ago. As demonstrators were marching on Monroe near the Palmer House near Wabash, a car did plow into the crowd. Police were trying to stop this vehicle. We saw one person go down. People began scattering out of the way of the vehicle. A very, very frightening situation. We did see at least one person who appeared to have been knocked down by the car, but then just like that, it was over. Police did get the car pulled over. It looked like it was going to be horrible. It looks like no one was seriously hurt. Can't say that for sure. We don't see anyone down right now. Now this demonstration, this large demonstration, seemed to have been a little bit re-energized by that, and it is moving south again on Wabash under the L tracks. You can hear it. Thousands of people continuing to march here, denouncing ICE, denouncing the White House, saying immigrants have rights. They are being loud, and this is still going on. Reporting live from under the L tracks on Wabash near Monroe, Terry Keshner, 105.9 WBBM.
Well, Southside residents at a food distribution event this afternoon sharing thoughts on a scarcity of resources in the city and how that ties into ramped-up immigration enforcement.
People lined up outside St. Sabina Church in the Auburn Gresham neighborhood where boxes of frozen food and fresh produce were being provided. We asked these community members in need if they take issue with resources going to address an influx of migrants over the past few years.
No, I mean, if you need it, you need it. I mean, if you got it, then, you know.
The views varied, some taking an everyone is welcome approach, while others were more concerned with ongoing disparities in the city.
Yeah, because the people in our neighborhoods that really need it, not getting it, they're giving it to everybody else first. So the people that's in our neighborhoods that actually need it, like all these homeless people that's sleeping under the viaducts and stuff, they getting the resources that our people should be getting. I just feel like that. I'm sorry.
Everyone in this line we spoke with expressed approval for immigration efforts, but they are concerned about the use of force involved, along with the federal presence setting a precedent they fear could soon be turned on the local black community. On the south side, Brandon Eisen, News Radio 105.9 WBBM.
Newly obtained 911 recordings from West Suburban Broadview are providing more insight into the day that the ICE processing center there first became the focus of weeks of immigration enforcement and protests. WBBM political editor Jeff Buchholz has been working this story for weeks and is here at the anchor desk with exclusive details. Jeff.
Hi, Lisa. Broadview is a community of 8,000 people inside an area that's a little bigger than 2 square miles. Operation Midway Blitz turned it into a place that's become known around the world.
911, where's the emergency?
Ma'am, we were just shot at by ICE agents at 1930 Broadview, and they got a handicapped woman.
That's part of just one of the calls that came into Broadview's dispatch center on September 12th. Before that day was over, operators would be flooded with calls from people demonstrating and getting pepper sprayed outside the ICE processing facility.
How many people?
Are you okay?
Broadview Police Chief Thomas Mills was in the middle of everything. He was trying to protect everyone out there, and in the middle of all of it, he was confronted by a masked ICE agent.
He screamed some vulgarities at me, basically stating that I needed to do my job, and I'm a piece of, and not a good word.
It's the word you think it is. In an extensive interview at Village Hall, the chief told me that's when he realized his officers were going to need more help.
We actually created a new plan, seeing what we went through on September 12th.
He says his department, which is budgeted for 31 sworn officers and 2 civilians, has done what he calls a phenomenal job under difficult circumstances.
Jeff, so the village, did they have any advance warning that this enforcement surge was coming?
We asked about that. The chief told me he heard from some people at the ICE facility around Labor Day that they would be processing detainees 7 days a week. Usually that facility would run 9 to 5 Monday through Friday, but they had very little other information about what they'd be doing.
So talk about the process to get this story.
We filed a public records request nearly 2 months ago for materials related to Broadview's response to demonstrations at the ICE facility. After reviewing those recordings that you just heard and a bunch of others, we sat down with Chief Mills to find out more about his department's actions. There's more to come over the next couple of days, including how he feels about how his community has become a backdrop for political protests and what we learned about his current employment status with the village.
All right, we'll look forward to that. Good job. Thank you, political editor Jeff Buchholz. Thanks.